Crude corruption, exploring Shell's misdeeds. Who is Shell? Shell plc, formerly known as Royal Dutch Shell plc, is one of the largest oil and gas companies in the world. The oil and gas company is operating in 70 countries and has amassed a net worth of $211.7 billion. Shell was founded in 1833 by Marcus Samuel in London, England. The business started as an importing company, mainly focusing on importing decorative seashells from the East. When Samuel died, he passed the business to his sons, who merged the business with Royal Dutch in the early 1900s after tremendous success in transporting oil in the 1880s. By 1958, Shell had started drilling for oil in the Niger Delta. Since then, at least 7,000 instances of contamination have affected the Delta. Shell's neglect and corruption. Communities in the Niger Delta have been suffering at the hands of Shell for decades. Oil spills occurring from 1989 to 2020 still have not been properly cleaned by Shell, even after multiple witnesses raised concerns about potential issues. Shell's inaction led communities to sue the oil conglomerate in 2015. While the case is still ongoing, a trial has been set for 2027. The members of the Bile and the Ogale communities are seeking restitution and repairs for the affected areas. The injustice began when Nigeria's government chose greed and corruption over its citizens' well-being. Shell officials were caught working with Dan Atet, Nigeria's former Minister of Oil and a convicted money launderer. Atet was the owner of the OPL 245 oil field located off the southern coast of the Niger Delta. It's estimated to hold around 9 billion barrels of crude oil and estimated to generate $10 billion in revenue. Emails provided by anti-corruption charities and law enforcement revealed Shell was plotting with Atet to acquire the oil field. One employee went as far as writing, "We should probably just hold out until nature takes its course with him," if Atet had rejected their offers. This email was forwarded to Peter Vaser, the then CEO of Shell, showing corruption was tolerated by Shell's most senior employees. In 2011, Shell, along with Italian oil company Eni, purchased the OPL oil field. Shell paid Nigeria's government $1.3 billion for the field. Thereafter, the government subsequently paid $1 billion to a company owned by Dan Atet. Consequences of Shell's questionable ethics. Shell's avoidance to deliver proper aid to the affected communities is unethical. Businesses have a moral obligation to serve the communities they operate within. According to the United Nations, via the norms on responsibilities of transnational corporations, multinational businesses like Shell must be held accountable for their consumers' protection rights, environmental rights, and the rights of workers. Residents in Ogoniland, a region of the river state in the Niger Delta, told BBC nearly 1.5 metric tons of oil spilled has greatly impacted their health, livelihoods, and have had an even greater effect on the environment. Paulina Agabekpe, a resident of Bodo, Ogoniland, spoke to BBC about how the polluted water caused several of her children to fall ill and unfortunately succumb to their illnesses. Agabekpe also shares about the disrupted livelihoods in her fishing community, telling BBC, "Because our livelihoods have been taken away, people in Bodo are hungry." She delves deeper, explaining the environmental damages the non-cleaning has caused. She recalls when the Niger Delta was teeming with life before the spills. Various species of plants, trees, and animals alike have been flushed out of the area due to it becoming practically uninhabitable. Ethical analysis. So far, Shell has failed to meet the standards laid out in the norms of responsibilities of transnational corporations by failing to provide safe and healthy working environments, carrying out their activities in accordance to the preservation of the environment in the countries in which they operate, and take all the necessary steps to ensure the safety and quality of the goods and services they provide. Even through a utilitarian lens, Shell is behaving unethically. According to Jeremy Bentham, the value of a good, service, or proposed action relative to the utilitarian principle is increasing happiness or decreasing pain. Based on the previous accounts, Shell has proven to be decreasing the happiness of its immediate stakeholders. Shell's actions, or lack thereof, have impacted tens of thousands of lives and decimated the Niger Delta's flora and fauna beyond speedy repair. This ethical lapse in preventing unnecessary harm is the main reason why the lawsuit has gained traction recently. Consumers prefer to support companies that prioritize their well being. Conclusion. Globalization ushers in exponential economic growth for developing countries, countries exporting and importing goods, as well as enabling ease of trade. When companies are solely focused on profit, social and environmental standards seem to be overlooked. We must hold multinational companies accountable for their side effects for their ambitious endeavors. If Shell were held accountable early on, the damage done to the communities and the environment in the Niger Delta could have been severely decreased. Thank you for your time.